Hello, my name is Miss Shenitra Davis. I will be teaching scientific method to a group of students that are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Okay, hello, I am Miss Davis, and today we're going to talk about the scientific method. Is anybody familiar with the scientific method? No. Okay, that's not a problem because that's why I'm here. Well, first of all, the scientific method answers questions about the world around us, our natural world. Scientists, young, small, pretty much a lot of professions use the scientific method. And so what it is, it's a process that answers questions for us. So, are you guys familiar with the First 48? Good. Any other shows that you watch like that?
CSI.
CSI, what else? Cold Case, what else?
Criminal Minds.
And Criminal Minds, right. And so what do? They use investigations, they use evidence, what else?
Science.
They use science, right, to answer questions. Who killed somebody? What happened to a missing person? And so that's what scientists do, whether they're young like yourselves or whether they're old. They use a process to answer questions. So the scientific method is, first of all, it's a 5-step process, and the first thing is an observation. So an observation is just a question. We have to ask, well, what happened? What happens when you mix oil and water? What happens when you mix baking soda and vinegar? So next is a hypothesis. Anybody familiar with that? What's a hypothesis?
It's like what you think is going to happen.
Right. It's exactly right. It's what you think will happen. But as you get older, you'll learn that it's what you think will happen based on what you already know, based on prior knowledge. And some scientists even do research at that step. They research to see what they'll think will happen. So next is our experiment. You guys know what that is?
A product.
It's the product. It's what you're going to do. It's your procedure, right? So it's a step-by-step process that you want to know what's going to happen. You're going to do exactly, step-by-step your procedure, your design. Next is your results. Your results are going to be like graphs and tables. All the data that you collected, you're going to put it in graphs. And lastly is your conclusion. And that's where you accept or reject your hypothesis. Whether you tell whether I was right or whether I was wrong. So you guys know, what if your hypothesis is wrong? Does that mean that your project was really, really bad? Mm-hmm. No, not at all. It's just what you thought would happen. So if you were wrong, that's perfectly fine. The only thing that scientists really worry about with their experiment is whether it is reliable and whether it's reproducible. And all that means is, if you gave me step by step what you did, can I do it again? And were your results reliable? Like I have a reliable friend. So that's what the scientific method is, okay? And so now First 48, I think you said Criminal Minds, Cold Cases, they all use the scientific method. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to use each and every step every single time. You have the right to pick and choose what you want. Sometimes you can add steps. You may even want to take some steps out. It's at your own discretion. You use it how you want to, okay? So today we're going to do a quick lab with pennies, okay? So you can go ahead and put your safety goggles on. You can go ahead and grab some gloves, grab a penny and an eyedropper. The project is going to be how many drops of water can fit on a penny. On the worksheet, it says how many drops of water can fit on a penny. Now, that's our question. So what is that called in the scientific method? The question. Right, your observation. So you're going to circle that. How many drops of water can fit on a penny? You're going to circle that and write the word observation. What's the next thing we do after we make our observation? After we ask the question, what do? A hypothesis. Good. What you think will happen? So how many drops of water can fit on a penny? How many drops do you think? 1. What about you? 3. And what about
15.
15. Okay, so you're going to write the word hypothesis and just put your guess. How many drops you think? Place drops of water on the penny one at a time until any amount of water runs over the edge of the penny. And lastly, you're going to record your observations and the number of drops for that trial in the table. So you're going to actually do that 4 times. You're going to see how many times you can put a drop of water, how many drops you can get on the penny before it runs over. Once you count that, you're going to write it in trial 1. Take your paper towel, wipe it, and then do it again. And we're going to do it 4 times, right? So you guys are welcome to get started. Good. So be sure you're doing one drop at a time. Good job. So once the water begins to run over the edge, that's at what point you will stop counting and write that down. Good job. I like your precision. Good. Okay, so what number did you stop at?
14.
14? Okay, so for trial 1, you're going to write 14. Going to dry your pen, y'all. You can move into another spot. You're going to do that 4 times. And so this step-by-step process that we're doing, what is that called?
Experiment.
Right, that's your experiment. So when you get a second, right outside of that numbered procedure, you're going to write the word experiment. And where you guys are writing in the tables, what is that called?
A graph.
It's a graph, it's a table, what else? We're going to charts, tables, and we're going to produce graphs from, but that step is called your results. And the last part, what is that called?
Conclusion.
Your conclusion. And that's whether your hypothesis was right or wrong. And the reason that we're doing so many trials is so that it's what? Reliable. So that we know we have good, accurate results. So that we weren't just getting lucky at some point. Good job. You guys are being really precise and accurate. I like that. So overall, do you accept or reject? For the gentleman that got one of them right.
Accept.
You're gonna accept?
No.
No, you're gonna reject it. Good. Does that mean that you guys didn't do a good job? No, right. You did an excellent job. It's your hypothesis doesn't make your experiment. It just lets you know what you thought would happen and whether it was right or wrong. And so once again, our question is what?
How many drops of water fit on one side of the plate?
Right. And what part of the process of scientific method? Which part is that? Your question.
Observation.
Good, your observation. And then next we do what?
Hypothesis.
Our hypothesis. And that's our guess, right? Next we're going to do the what?
Experiment.
The experiment. Good. And what was our experiment right here?
Dropping the drops of water on the penny.
Good. And then what's next?
The
Results. Good job. And so what did we use for our results?
chart.
The chart. Good. And lastly is our conclusion. And we just accept or reject our hypothesis, right? It tells exactly what happened. So overall, what do you think happened? Did you accept or reject your hypothesis?
Reject.
Rejected. What was your guess?
3.
3. And how many did you get?
26.
26. Good. You guys did an awesome job. So next we'll watch Mythbusters and determine the scientific method that was used. Thank you.